good.
We're
What else other business you got going, Bill?
The other, we won't know until the state decides, which is supposed to be in the next week or so.
I would call the May 7th Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order at 5:05 PM. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lamont.
Present.
Mr. Schlechter.
Here.
Mr. Hubbard.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here. Thank you. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from March 5th, 2018? Any changes or additions? Motion to approve the minutes from March 5th. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second?
Okay. Mr. Schlechter.
Yes.
Mr. Lamont.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard.
Abstain.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Abstain.
So since just the first applicant is here, we will swear you in, and then when the next group comes, we'll have another swearing. So we're going to swear twice tonight.
Okay.
So if you, those going to speak, raise your right hand. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated. So our first item of new business is a variance request on the south side setback, 35 feet required to 15 feet provided for the property located at 5310 Elmer Drive, parcel number 78-38961, Sylvania Township zoning resolution section 1403. Darrell, can you read us your report?
Yes. The subject property consists of a vacant, nearly 1 acre parcel on the northwest corner of Reynolds Road and Elmer Drive, formerly occupied by a small office building used as a credit union. The applicant, Reynolds Road Animal Hospital, wishes to build a new veterinary clinic on the site. The Sylvania Township Board of Trustees recently approved a change in zoning to C2 General Commercial for this property. The applicant was also granted a 20-foot side setback variance last fall by the Sylvania Township Board of Zoning Appeals. This variance reduced the setback along the northern property line from 30 feet to 10 feet. Section 1403 of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution mandates a minimum 35-foot front setback for C2 zone parcels. The applicant is today requesting a 15-foot variance to allow for a 20-foot front setback from the public right-of-way of Elmer Drive. The previous building on the parcel was approximately 17 feet from the right-of-way. The agent for the applicant has stated that the small corner lot presents a hardship and that, quote, "the frontage setbacks extremely limit what we can fit on site and doesn't allow us to use a majority of the property," unquote. Any corner lot is going to have a greater setback requirements due to the dual frontages. Additionally, Section 2222 of the zoning resolution dictates increased setbacks for frontages on major thoroughfares. Reynolds Road, as a state route, has a 120-foot setback from centerline requirement. The property abuts a residential use to the west, thus increasing the minimum rear setback requirement another 10 feet from what it would be if abutting a commercial parcel. As setback distances are based on the location of the right-of-way, they are a partial limitation to the siting of a building on a parcel. The buildable area of the subject lot is significantly diminished by the angled right-of-way cut at the corner of Reynolds Road and Elmer Drive. Moreover, the right-of-way along the north side of Elmer Drive is approximately 10 feet deeper than it is on the south side. These right-of-way cuts reduce the usable area of the parcel to approximately a half acre before setbacks. Staff recommends approval of the requested variance from the minimum front setback requirement along Elmer Drive from 35 feet required to 15 feet provided for the property located at 5310 Elmer Drive, parcel number 78-38961, for the following reasons. The parcel can only be developed as commercial. It is not suitable for residential, industrial, or any other classification of development. However, the limited buildable area of this parcel presents a practical difficulty for the development of a commercially zoned property that also abuts residential. Approval of this variance should not present a negative impact upon the public good or neighboring properties or impair the visibility or safety of the traveling public. Approval of this variance should not alter the intent of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution.
Thank you, Darrell. Any questions from the trustees here? For Darrell? Okay. And invite the applicant up, if you would sign in and then state your name for the record. Bless you.
But thank you.
Roger Courthouse.
Roger. Anything you'd like to say on behalf of this matter?
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit more troublesome to get what we want on this property. We've been in front of you guys, I think this is the third time.
Yeah.
I feel like I know everyone now. Dwight, our architect, informed us about maybe 2 months ago that the property does not have enough room on it to build a hospital the size that we would want. We think that if we have a smaller size building, that it's probably not going to give us ample enough room to handle our clientele, which is the problem we're having now at Reynolds Road. We're kind of busting at the seams, if you will, and this is one of the reasons why we thought that this property down the street would suffice. I think we had a little bit of eagerness to get going rapidly and get out of our establishment we're in now and get a shovel in the ground, if you will. Since we're veterinarians, I think we thought it was going to be a little bit easier than it is, but I appreciate everyone's time and even Dwight's time here, taking numerous calls from us, having many lunch meetings, trying to get the effectiveness of what we want to be accomplished, help our community, and also create jobs in the environment, and start a commercial 2 zoning area for this corner. I know my neighbor to the north, and I know my neighbor to the west. She seems like she's really amiable with us getting going, and in order to do that, we need to have somewhat of a sizable hospital. I'm not so sure the parameters that we're asking for square footage wise, but what's going to be important too is parking. Parking for us is probably the main thing, and I've got about 18 employees on site at every given day, minus Saturday, minus maybe afternoons. It's varied from 15 to 17 people, and I have to have parking for them. I don't want them crossing the street, taking a shuttle from Reynolds Road Animal Hospital. It's just, we're already having parking problems where we're at. So that's the reason for us asking the council to have this variance so that we can get people in and out of there in a safe and effective manner without having a little traffic jam and clustering the whole parking lot. So that's why we're here today.
Okay, thank you.
So, I'm just trying to gather, so in October, we approved the 10-foot variance, correct? So that's the north side?
That's correct.
And now we're doing the south side from 35 to 15?
Right.
So I guess, can you just help me understand what changed in between right now?
I think I should probably ask Dwight that. He probably is gonna, he's been heading this off, and I think he can answer that. I think I'm gonna pass the floor to him on that one.
Don, if you don't mind, I think one of the things you can explain too, is part of that is like what your vision is for the property, so we
Yeah.
can understand, right? Sort of part of what changed, but also what you plan on doing, so that kind of, we can
Like
figure
what
out.
the overall structure's gonna look like?
Yeah,
or-
if you have any idea of what layout of the parking you say is important, like what's all that gonna?
Yeah, right now, currently, we're in about 3,900 square feet. We have one floor building, and what we want to do with this new build is create a good first floor footprint so that we can facilitate the offices and some of the conference rooms and even a break room upstairs. So it's going to be 2 floors. The main floor of the hospital is going to be just that, receiving patients, cats and dogs only, triaging them into the hospital, doing preventative medications and preventative wellness and vaccination, as well as taking care of sick and ill animals. But in general, we want it to be a 2-floor building with a nice entrance that has a good height to its ceiling. It'll probably be higher than this, with some good lighting in there, and have a really nice frontage as you cross Elmer and Reynolds Road. That's going to be, I don't want it to look gaudy. I don't want it to look like it doesn't fit the area. But we do need a larger footprint to facilitate the hospital side of what we're doing.
So the second floor will really be for not your clients or patients or the public, it's really staff?
Yeah, we have a lot of staff meetings, we have a lot of drug reps coming in, talking about new medications. We usually hold some conferences up there. We wanted to make sure that we could fit our whole staff in the conference room. So upstairs, the main room area that's going to be the largest area is the conference room, kind of a break room, conference room, and then some doctor's offices, with management offices as well, and then a locker room situation for our staff. And there's going to be a bathroom up there.
Just stairs?
Well, yes, no elevator. We talked a little bit about an elevator, but what it did is it cut into our square footage of the first floor.
Then what about parking? Because I think that goes to Don's question about...
Yeah, parking, I think, is obviously one of the most important things. I think minimally, we need about 28 parking spaces. We'll have 2 handicap spaces, I believe, up front, whatever code is, Dwight knows that. We do have a dumpster, and we want access to that, and we basically want our clients to pull in off of Elmer to be able to access the front of the building, while our staff parking is more toward the perimeter. So I think that picture, Darryl, if you have it, I don't know if these gentlemen have it in front of them.
Which one?
But there's no parking variance being asked.
No.
He meets the parking requirements.
He meets
He's got 2 over.
Which one did you want?
The one where it shows the footprint that we asked, the final drawing that we're kind of asking for, I think it's...
Seen on your PowerPoint.
There you go. So I was asking Darryl before we met, before you guys all showed up, I was asking about the parking, because I don't know where that blue line comes in. And it looked like the Federal Credit Union that was there before, they were parking outside of that blue line, but they were grandfathered in. I'm not so sure when they did their addition for the drive-through on the Federal Credit Union. It looked like it was an addition onto an existing residential prop. So I don't know if they got a variance on that, but it looked like the asphalt went past that, and there's 3 parking spaces past that.
It looks like you guys are like doubling the size of the parking lot. At least doubling the size of the parking lot, it looks like.
Yeah, you know, I was on the property yesterday cleaning it up, as best I could. It's pretty long, and I'm only comparing it to the hospital that I've been working in for so long. It's really, if you move the trees in the back, and we're planning on cutting some of the older trees down and planting new fauna, that it really is spacious, and I really don't think that we're going to be using the whole 5,100 square foot footprint downstairs. I think we'll be under 4,800, depending on what happens here. We're probably going to lessen our square footage a little bit to maybe facilitate more parking spaces. But again, I don't know the zoning you got, that's why I'm here in front of you.
I have a couple questions. Okay, this residential property that is to your west,
Yes.
I see you have landscaping in there. How big a buffer are we gonna make for these people? I mean, we're gonna...
We need 10 feet, right, from the west, before we build the fence?
I'm not talking about, length or width. I'm talking about the type of trees and what you're gonna plant there to give these people their privacy on their property.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, like some shade front to the west and,
Well, not so much for shade, but where it's a visual, where it's just not a couple trees that are gonna grow up 20 years from now. You understand?
yeah, Mrs. Lampley was just here. That was the woman in my west. I think you were here when I was talking to her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. She's like, thank God you're bringing those trees down because you know what? I'm sick of picking up sticks.
Okay, I don't know.
But that's not your question. The question is, I think we're probably going to be planting some shorter trees, maybe not back in that northwest corner there. I think there's just going to be grass there. And I might be doing some kind of a drainage system there because I know it gets wet there and swampy, and last thing I want is mosquitoes and mud.
Okay.
So I think what we'll probably be doing is there's some
Enclosed.
trees along. If I know my partner correctly, she didn't want to bring any tree down. She really loves existing fauna, and she said if we don't have to bring any tree down, please let's not do that. But I think to facilitate the build, we're going to have to bring those trees down in the back.
Right.
But I'm going to plan on planting some sort of tree for some shade and
Or some
cover.
kind of landscape that's gonna give some coverage there, you understand?
Really for privacy, so they're not staring at a garbage dumpster. That's, I think.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. There's going to be a fence. We have to build a fence according to what you guys recommended, right? So we're going to have an 8-foot fence. There's already a fence there already. She's got a fence there.
Okay. Moving along with that same thought.
There's a fence and
I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, where the garbage container is. We've had problems where people will build a building such as yours, and then at 4 o'clock in the morning, they come in to dump that, and people, there's residential there.
Oh, that would be a pain, yeah.
Right.
I think that it could be easily managed with waste management. I think that's an excellent question. The last thing that I want to do is make my neighbors upset. And I was telling Mrs. Lampley, the last thing I'm going to do in this facility, I don't plan on doing boarding. I don't want to, boarding, like a bunch of dogs barking.
Yeah.
And a bunch of dogs going in and out like Karnick would have, or Pups Paradise or whatever.
So they can come in anytime.
I know right now, our garbage gets picked up at 8:30 on Wednesdays.
It's covered.
But you know what? I've been paying Waste Management for years. I think we can facilitate a good pickup time, but that's a really good question, and I want just the board to know, this is gonna be a big thing for us. It's probably one of the biggest things I've ever done in my life, on one of my main assets in life, which is the veterinary hospital that I think we should be growing into. And the last thing that we want to do is upset our neighbors. Before I met with Dwight, and before we met you guys at the council, I went to lunch with Mr. Monette, who owns the property to the north of us. I've known Mark for a long time, and I know his dad, his family's close to us. And I wanted to buy that next parcel to eliminate all of these little bit of issues with space. And unfortunately, he wanted me to buy both properties, and it was above the ticket price for me. I think he's gonna probably wait it out till, some bigwig comes along and maybe buys the next plot, but I couldn't afford $500,000.
It'll be a long wait.
So I told him it'd be great to be his neighbor.
Okay, I have one other question here. This fence, what type of fence is that? Does anybody know?
Solid, right? Didn't we?
So, do you want me to read so this is from the minutes from October for the condition on the variance that we did for the setback originally in October.
Okay, thank you.
Conditions are as follows: a solid privacy fence to be installed per code on the north side and on the west side, an 8-foot barrier along with any landscaping that is required.
Okay,
That's good.
I forgot about that. I believe I was here.
No, it's okay. It's all right, and I think one of the things about the fence, and I think when we get the final draft, we'll be coming back and maybe asking your opinion on how far from the back northwest corner of the line, how far do you want the fence to go toward Reynolds Road on the north side? really, I don't know how visibly pleasable it would be to have a fence going all the way to Reynolds, but if I could adjoin it to the edge of that building and maybe put a gate going back that way, or whatever you guys want us to do, I'm fine with doing whatever you want us to do.
Well, there are some zoning regulations right now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm fine with staying within those for sure.
You couldn't take the 8-foot height fence any closer than the front setback limit, which is 120 feet from center line of Reynolds.
Okay. What I was picturing in my head was the building's there, and then the fence goes along to the building, and then there's a gate that gets you back in there, or there might be a door on that side to get into the building, but whatever you guys want us to do, I mean,
Well,
I'm fine with
there's
that.
specifications I think we have for the fencing.
Okay.
So that would add to the privacy of these people that are still here, okay?
Yeah,
All right,
it would.
and that would cause you less problem. And now I remember, you can't take that fence as far as it's shown, I believe, because of the 120-foot setback, correct?
Right.
So wherever that center line is from there, that's as far as you can take the fence in.
Fence, okay.
All right? So that may,
Well, I don't also, if I cut it off short, I want to stick to what the zoning requires,
yeah.
but I think we can figure that out later.
Okay, all right.
But I think that, Al, what you're asking me is, don't upset your neighbors, and I intend not to.
Right, and if you go in with that attitude and we go in with these questions being answered, it's gonna be a lot less hassle for
Yeah.
you, because we don't wanna see them here calling either.
No, it was really nice of Mrs. Lampley to show up, and I just met her, so.
Still want Dwight to come up.
Yeah, I'd just like to have an answer.
Maybe we'll have Dwight.
Yeah, thanks.
Come up for a moment. If you
Thank you.
sign in, Dwight, and state your name for the record, please. Thank you.
Architecture, put this on, he's here.
Yes.
Yes, my original question was, so,
Hold on. You just state your name for the
Oh, sorry.
record.
Oh, Dwight Gilliland?
Thank you.
You want him?
Go ahead.
so what changed from October? I guess my big question is why we didn't ask for the setback originally in October? So what changed in the drawings to?
What changed, there's a couple of things. I was not as intimately involved with the project at then. Jeremy was pretty much running the project. And partly because of that, there's also a thing on our end where we have a dimension that was offset in the wrong direction. So it became realized that we had the wrong site. But, so, yes. So that's why.
So the drawing is still the same as?
The drawing, well, everything's the same except my dimension line's in a different spot now.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring you up just for the.
That's all right. The reality, yes. Yeah, we're on there. Two things I'd like to point out, the same thing Roger hit upon. We're trying to maintain ourselves in line with the street, the houses in the street. I think Darrell mentioned that. And also, and I know you guys can't judge an elevation, but we're going with a residential look for the building. In case they want a copy of it, I'll let you have one if I'm allowed to.
Can we just take a peek at it?
Sure.
Dwight, be careful of the cords there.
Oh, that's nice. He's gonna do it, they'll do it right. It's very nice. New construction in there.
What's that?
Nice seeing new construction.
Dwight, it looks to me like your ingress and egress, you're using the same, oh, there you are. Lost you for a minute.
Jumped my
Same
toes.
curb cuts that were in existence, prior use?
Yeah, around that area there.
We're not adding or subtracting, you're just utilizing.
No, we're not, we're really interested in widening things up because our traffic is predominantly residential cars, or pedestrian cars, residential cars.
Okay. Any other questions for Dwight or the applicant?
Very nice project.
Thank you.
I like it.
Entertain a motion then?
I'll make a motion. Motion for a variance request on the south side setback from 35 feet to 15 feet provided for the property at 5310 Elmer Drive.
Second.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Romano?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
So you're approved, and within 30 days, you'll get notice of that approval. If you have any questions, you can talk to Darrell or Lorraine. Thank you. See you again next month.
Nice.
Our next variance is from the...
Very so you can treat squirrels and deer.
So I assume you're the applicant for Barton Place? I am. So I'm going to swear, if you're going to speak today, I'm going to swear you in, because you weren't here on time. So just stand up for a second. Hold your right hand up. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. So the next item of new business is a variance request for a side yard setback from 10 feet required to 3 feet provided for the property located at 5028 Barton Place, parcel number 78-96104, Sylvania Township zoning regulations, section 703. Staff report, Darrell?
Section 703 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution mandates a 10-foot side setback for parcels in an RA suburban residential district. The applicant is requesting a 7-foot variance from this requirement in order to construct an attached 20-foot 7-inch wide garage on the east side of the parcel. The existing dwelling is approximately 23 feet from the eastern property line. Application of the side setback will leave 13 feet of buildable width for an attached garage. The applicant purchased the property in 1997 and since that time has put in an in-ground swimming pool, a 212 square foot home addition, and converted an 8-foot by 22-foot shed into a pool house. Staff recommends denial of the requested variance from the minimum side setback requirement on the east side of the lot for the property located at 5028 Barton Place, parcel number 78-96104, for the following reasons. 1, staff finds no hardship, special circumstances, or exceptionalities to the property to warrant relief from the strict application of the requirements of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution. 2, the situation eliciting the variance request is somewhat self-created by the applicant. A large shed existed on the property which may have been used for storage or converted to a garage. The applicant converted it to a pool house. Additionally, the applicant would have been aware of the size limitations of the property at the time of purchase. 3, the applicant is not without other options. A detached garage may be constructed within 3 feet of the property line, the same distance that the applicant is seeking in this variance. The applicant may build an attached one-car garage and still meet the required setback of 10 feet. This garage would be approximately 13 feet wide. A standard one-car garage is 12 feet wide. And finally, the existing pool house may be converted to a garage.
Thank you, Darrell. Any questions of Darrell from the trustees?
No, thank you.
Okay, if the applicant would like to come forward and sign in, state your name for the record.
State my name.
Please.
Tom Colzar.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you? Tell us what you have in mind, please.
Well, the pool house can't be converted into a garage, it's only 8 feet wide. And from its location, from where it's at, it would be rather difficult. Plus, I didn't convert a shed to a pool house, I built it exactly the way it is. So that information's a little not quite correct. I also had no idea when I bought a 3,000 square foot house that I wouldn't be able to build something equal to a 2-car garage. I also had a letter from my neighbor who's immediately on the east side of my home. Sorry about that. Who do I give this to?
You give it to Darrell.
Darrell, there you go. That he has no problem, or any of my neighbors, that I would be able to do this project. And I also asked Darrell when we had talked earlier, I said, if you and your wife were coming to a little over 3,000 square foot house with a 12-foot wide garage, would you really be interested in buying it? And he said, no. So, I'm a contractor, my driveway is always a mess, my neighbors live with it, they never say anything, they're very good to me. I'm sure I'm very good to them because of that. I pay storage, I wouldn't have to pay storage anymore. I call that a hardship. I'm not sure what a hardship is, but it would be very convenient for me to have that instead of going to storage all the time. It would save me time, and I wouldn't have to spend the money on storage. It would also increase the neighborhood. My property, I have the most expensive house on the street. It's actually oversized for the neighborhood, but it would certainly improve things.
So I assume that's the addition that he talks about here?
Is that out the back?
Right here off the back?
Yes.
And then this is,
Yeah, the pool house is actually to the rectangular part on the right.
right here?
Yes, the other's just an overhang.
So you're saying you can drive into that, underneath that?
Well, not really, because the way the configuration is and the closeness is to the house, you'd have to kind of do one of these.
Okay.
I don't think it would be very safe.
All right.
Plus, I have a granite top on a glass block bar. I'd have to basically tear it down and redo it.
Where on that site plan are you proposing to place?
Right alongside the house.
Where are the elements?
It shows on the drawing, Timmy. Tim.
I just can't read that real well.
Oh.
I mean, it's in this yellow area.
Yeah, it's right
so-
there, yeah, right in the yellow.
All right, so,
Yes, the dotted line is where I'd like to be, the yellow line is where I would be.
got it.
And if I went with the 10-foot variance, basically, it wouldn't be a 1-car garage because I'd have to put stuff in there. Storage, materials, tools. It would be too compact.
How wide would the garage be now? I see that maybe with him. How wide from, if you...
I'm almost 23 feet from the property line, or a little over 23, I can't remember whatever the figures were, but...
You'd have a 20-foot, 7-inch width on the
Yeah, well, to make it easy, 20 foot, yes.
Okay.
You can go 13, stay within,
Yeah.
so he's asking for another 7.
See the kind of the catch-22 is in there.
It's not going to be a detached, it's an attached garage, right?
Attached or
I
detached?
would like to attach it, yes.
I would think.
Because of I was going to do, my roof comes down this way, I just wanted to do a shed roof, which would make it really easy. Save me a little money on building
That's
it.
the tough one.
Otherwise, if I'm 3 feet from the property line, I probably have to be about 3 feet from my house, and then I'm squishing the garage back in.
You're saying if you did a detached garage?
If I did the detached garage, yes.
And the letter is from the person who would be on the side of the house with the garage?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions of the applicant?
Well, I'm sorry, it's not as complicated as Rogers, but...
No, they all have their merit. All right, we're gonna recess for a few minutes and discuss it, and we'll be back out with our decision.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Back in session, so I will entertain a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion for the variance request for a side yard setback from 10 feet required to 3 feet provided for the property located at 5028 Barton Place, parcel number 78-96104, the Savigny Township zoning resolution section 703.
Second, motion is second.
Mr. Hayes. Mr. Romano.
No.
Mr. Proctor.
No.
Mr. Hubbard.
No.
Mr. Miller.
No.
So you will receive official notice in writing, but we're going to give you a few reasons why, so you will walk away kind of understanding. And I think you asked the question, what's a hardship? I guess in general terms, it's something that the zoning code restricts you on or causes undue onus, where you had a case in front of you, you came in probably right about the middle, where the way the setback...
That's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, okay. The setback came in, and it took almost a third of the property, right, and made that particular piece of property tough to develop. There's a hardship there. Here, we kind of have, for lack of a better term, maybe overutilization of a property, and you're just kind of running out of space to do what you want to do, and I understand that economically it's costly, but it's not a hardship that our zoning regulation has caused. And, one of the determinants is, are there other options? And I think Greg had some thoughts on...
Yeah, so if you we were talking about this, if you put a detached garage, but put it very close to your home, so you still don't have a very far distance to walk, you still can utilize the 3-foot variance request that you requested. You could do it up to 3 feet. Your neighbors to your left and your right have detached garages, so it sort of fits in the neighborhood, and you could probably make it your own in a way that allows you to have sort of what you're looking for, but meet our zoning requirements.
Just a quick question, how close can I build to my house?
Well, we're going to have you ask those questions of Darrell maybe outside the meeting, if it's not relevant.
Well, just so when I do my prints.
Yeah, we can have those discussions.
Yeah, we'll close the meeting and then you can ask Darrell.
Is that fair? Okay. All right, so then I'd like a motion.
Excuse me,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair. Just a couple things. One, I don't know if we need to put this in the record about the other variance being withdrawn.
We can do that.
Sure.
7547 Wind River.
Yep, good idea.
So I'll read to the record that the variance request for a fence around an in-ground pool for a minimum of 3.5 height required to 0 provided for the property located at 7547 Wind River that application was revoked by the applicant prior to the meeting, so it was not on the agenda.
And I have two other small things. One, just want to apologize to everybody for kind of the mix-up regarding the Board of Elections using this room, and they would have had to move tonight's meeting date, and we come to find out the Board of Elections is no longer using this building as an election site. That brings up the question of our November BZA meeting. We have it scheduled for the 12th at the beginning of the year when we set the dates. We automatically went to the second Monday of the month, November 12th. I don't know if tonight we want to make a decision on keeping that on the 12th, move it to the first Monday, which is the 5th, or just play it by ear and see if we even will have anything on the agenda for that meeting. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Meaning,
for
you
discussion.
were saying we would be able to have the place on the 5th?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Board of Elections is no longer using this building as a
I say put it back to the 5th.
Because it's just, we've got it on the website and everything, so we
Might
have
as
to
well.
change all that, but yeah, that would make it.
5th it is.
Okay.
So then we can all call you and say, do we have the building or not on the 5th?
And then, just one last thing, as you may or may not know, our land use plan has finally been approved by the trustees, it's a done deal. There's some hard copies up there, if you'd like to take large and small, feel free to take them, and I'll be sending out the link to the electronic version of the plan in the next couple days.
Congrats, that's
Also,
great.
yeah, good job, Darrell.
A lot of work, yeah, good job.
Thanks for all the help. That's all I have.
Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, you got a second?
Mr. Lamont?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes?
Mr. Hubbard?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
What do I say, yes? Okay.
Thank you. So, you can come up and talk to Darrell.
I'm involved in some of that.